All right, everybody, got a special treat for y'all here today. We have a special guest in the house, and we are going to be going over some Arkansas football film. I know there's some controversial things, some controversial takes about maybe did Quinn Ewers play good, did Quinn Ewers play bad, were some of the plays horrible, were some of the plays good. We'll find out. And who is that guest? None other than Ghost. Ghost, they can now see you. How are you doing, man? Say what's up to the folks.
Yeah, doing great, guys. Thank y'all for having me over here, Nash. Big fan of the channel and all you do for Texas football, my man. And yeah, excited to get in here, look at a little film, talk a little shop with you, brother.
All right, all right. And then I do want to say real quick, oof, people. This man right here, one subscriber away from 500. That's a big number to hit. Big number to hit. We need him to hit 500. So if he's not at 500 in the morning, there's gonna be some problems. All right, everybody. So let's go ahead and get down on into the, let's just hop right on into the down and dirty right now. Let me see. Open local media rule. Okay, yeah. This is the this is the point. We'll be able. I'll cut this up obviously at a certain point, so it's not gonna be 100% live. But
Of course.
so this is the Queen River Sack one.
So right here, I mean, you talked about controversy, and pause it right there for us, Nash, if you don't mind going back to. It's not the all 22 overhead view, but it's not far from it, and you can see most of the action that's going on right here. Um, who you have circled right now? That's Brad Spence. He plays weak side linebacker for the Arkansas Razorbacks. And it's a little bit of an odd front here with Arkansas. You've got a nose tackle or a defensive tackle shaded over to a nose, and everything looks like, kind of pressure off the right side is coming right here. And instead, Spence, he kind of adds that edge rusher over here to the boundary side. And so now, Nash, you talked about controversy, right? What's the controversy that we're looking at here?
Yeah, the controversy is so a lot of people they're sitting here and they're going to be saying that this is Quinn Ewers. They're watching this and they see okay, there's a little bit of open up in the middle, and then Quinn Ewers gets sacked. So from what I've seen online, on especially on Twitter, let's just when I say online, we're referring to Twitter because that's where kind of the the town square is for Texas fans. They say that Quinn Ewers ran in to the defender's arms. Now, me personally, the way that I see this is I'm looking at. Whoops, we are on a line right there. Let me get that. So I'm looking at this right, and there's that line right there. You can see the hash marks. Kelvin Banks is on the left side of that line. As you move this clip forward, you can see he starts to leak onto the other side. So he's getting pushed backwards, you know. And I just, in my
Okay.
opinion, and I'll see what I want to get your opinion. I don't know that I don't know that I can personally blame Quinn for just running into the defensive end's arms right here, or the linebacker's
Okay.
arms in this case.
Let's show everyone. Go back to pre-snap, right before the snap, that same overhead view if you can, and watch where Kelvin Banks is right here. He's roughly lined up on the 44.5 yard line, and he is, what is this? Maybe 2.5 to 3 yards off the left hash mark. Okay. Now let's go slow mo, Nash, and hit play whenever you're ready. And let's watch what Brad Spence does to Kelvin Banks here. Okay, comes on the late blitz. Banks sees it's not really a late blitz. And now watch what happens with Banks. Backwards, backwards. Now he's getting pushed to the side a little bit as Quinn simultaneously is deciding to step up here. And look at all that green grass that you see right there. Pause it for us, Nash. All that green grass, all that room. You cannot blame Quinn whatsoever here for stepping up. Now, remember, what is the down and distance, Nash? Is it 3rd and 3?
The down and distance. I have to rewind for that one.
I want to say it's a third down,
3rd and 9.
3rd and 9. Okay, okay. So forgive me for that. Now, Gunnar Helm underneath, I'm sure people are going to look at this and see that that's not an auto first down right there. You've got an Arkansas DB in the middle of the field. You've got another Arkansas DB over there just outside the right hash who's ready to step up and make a play. You can see where his eyes are in the backfield. He's eyeing Quinn. Okay, so Gunner's not an automatic first down. Now, I think Quinn's thought process right here is this DB that you see circled in the middle of the field that he's going to get in Gunner's hip and kind of follow Gunner there and flow with Gunner. So I like Quinn's decision here to step up in the pocket. Now, unfortunately, Kelvin Banks had a rough time with 22 over here, Spence for the Razorbacks. And he is a smaller, more athletic player, quicker than Kelvin Banks, obviously. This is a weak side linebacker who makes a really good play. And as Quinn is stepping up, he slides to the middle of the field because he sees Quinn stepping up, and that's not on Ewers, in my opinion, whatsoever. I actually think Quinn did a really good job in decision making and going through his progressions right there, and then ultimately deciding to try to step up. And yeah, it's 3rd and 9. It would have been a big ask for Quinn to pick up 9 there, but once again, seeing all the room he had in front of him, seeing that back or that the defensive back in the middle of the field, who most likely follows Gunnar Helm right there, and did ultimately follow Gunnar Helm as Quinn stepped up. I'm with you, Nash. I think you're correct, and it's not on Quinn. Kelvin Banks had a bad rep right there, a bad snap, and that's just kind of chalk it up. It's call it. It is what it is.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're humans, right? You're not going to win every rep, right?
Right.
And one thing
We
I
love the
think
guy.
so. So also to what you were kind of to what you're saying here is I think that it's not a get. I don't think because if you look at where he's at, okay, the line of scrimmage is this line right here, that 55. Okay, so he's got 5 yards to work to move on. And I apologize because your camera might be in the way for what I was trying to show to the people right here. But so if you go and you look, I believe this is either Bond or Golden right here. Okay, I think Quinn might be stepping up because you got this guy. This guy, he's going to start to with Gunnar Helm coming across the middle. He's going to start to come down to try and take away that. And I think that there's a if you watch this and you start to kind of actually see that right there, you see him, you saw that hip movement right there. And that's one of the things I've learned. Look, I may not be a ball connoisseur or anything like that, but I've learned one thing in my time in sports: the hips don't lie. You know, like those the hips are
Yeah.
the key to the universe. And if you're in basketball, if you want to watch where somebody's going to go, you watch their hips, right?
Watch those hips, baby.
And so
Don't watch the
hips
ball.
hips don't lie. You watch that. There's that little bit of movement right there. The hips. He sinks his hips in. He's about to drive forward, and then right
Yeah,
behind him.
go back a little bit, Nash, because I want to make your point even further. Watch this DB for Arkansas that's just outside the right hash. Go one frame further, if possible. I want you to see it now. Watch his DB. If you go forward in slow mo, watch where he gets all of his weight, where he's leaning. Isaiah Bond, if that is him, he is coming open right there.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what that safety does, which it still looks like he's moving side to side and not really downhill yet. That you good. That's a great point, Nash.
Really, the
You
only
very
one that can make a
well.
play on him is that guy right there.
And if like you said, when Quinn flips his hips on the run, that's normally when he's throwing the ball with zip. And I can see him definitely trying to fit the ball into Isaiah Bond right there. The middle of the field is wide open, yes. But once again, Quinn, he knows his game. And 3rd and 9, he knows he's going to have a lot of room. He does have it, yes. But at the same time, that for Quinn has become what is a pretty simple pitch and catch. Quinn on the move is
I mean, look,
more dangerous than Quinn standing in the pocket,
we know he's dangerous in these intermediate level throws.
no doubt.
All right, so let's go on to let's get. All right, so we're on breakdown number 2 here. I guess let's go ahead and just let's. I guess what'll probably be a good exercise is let's watch the play in 75% the first time through with the
I
people,
like it.
and and then we can decide to do anything else after that.
Love it.
And feel free to make comments when you see as soon as you see something, like even if we're watching it the first time through.
But yeah, just go back to the beginning. I want to talk about, it's kind of a unique little formation for Texas here. You're in a double tight, but you're doing it still out of 11 personnel. You got Gunnar Helm and then three receivers for. Um, I don't know how often y'all get into personnel and stuff on the channel, Nash, but 11 personnel, that just is one running back, one tight end. If it was two tight ends on the field instead of DeAndre Moore being out there, then and Jaden Blue still on the field, then that becomes 12 personnel with one running back and two tight ends. But so you're in 11 personnel here. It's a short down and distance.
Just to kind of show the
Texas
people
really.
the
Exactly. No, I love that. Thank you, Nash. So, obviously red indicates running back, blues tight end, white's wide receiver there. And so 11 personnel. And so right here, for me personally, I'd like to see Texas against this. As you can see it right now, look at Arkansas. You're in what is a 3-3-5 at the moment. Okay. And maybe one of these guys is a safety who's walked down because they did play a lot of 3-2-6 in this game. But you've got a six-man box, and look how many bodies Texas has right there. Obviously, you've got seven on the line of scrimmage, and then you have DeAndre Moore, you have Gunnar Helm tight. For me personally, and I think Nash might agree here in a moment, this is a down and distance where Sarkisian and Texas need to be able to run the football and do it with some assertiveness. You got to pick up 2 yards on the ground in this spot, in my opinion, Nash. And so, me watching this live when this play happened, go ahead and play it live. Go slow as you can for me though. And when I see DeAndre Moore in motion, I was shocked, bro, to see that ball in the air. Okay. Now, as you can see right there, the play is blowing up immediately because there's a really, really good play by number 3 for Arkansas. But he steps up. Um, he comes in off of, I mean, I didn't expect it, to be honest. Upon replay, I thought we just missed a block. Um, but his name's Danico Slaughter. He steps up there and plays so fast downhill. You can see him walking up on the line of scrimmage or near the line of scrimmage as the ball snapped. I don't know what his keying right there. It might have been um, the back, and once the back crosses Quinn's face, and he commits himself to a blitz, that very well could have been it for that particular down and distance. But he blows that play up. If you go back and look at it, look at what Isaiah Bond is asked to do on this play as far as blocking responsibility.
well,
You
and
see Isaiah Bond.
I think a good one to look at is this view on this one, because it really
This
kind of shows the almost impossible job that
right.
Isaiah Bond has
Well,
right here. If you look at it, he's already there.
now,
You can put a pylon in between the two guys.
yeah.
You can put one of those little practice dummy pylons in between these two dudes. So
Now, if this is like a 3rd and 7 or something, and Slaughter, unless he's coming on a straight blitz, he's probably maybe taking a half step back or staying flat-footed on the snap. But I mean, he takes a little half step towards the mesh right here, and then he's coming. And so Bond, he literally can't move laterally fast enough to get all the way over there. And
he's gonna
Helm,
get a false start if he does.
right. And now the situation that, you can bring up here is like, look at the way Texas blocks this. Go back to that overhead view that I love this view, man. Great view. Now Helm, in a simple offense, Helm comes straight up here, Bond blocks out. You flip it up and Moore, gets what he can there.
It's simple.
Because you're talking about if Helm can get to this guy number 3, if Helm can get to Slaughter's outside shoulder right there, if he attacks right there in the tusk of that pig, if he gets right there and Helm's a big guy that can
Mm-hmm.
move very well. And what Slaughter's doing on this play is he's watching Weisner there. And when Weisner crosses Quinn's face, in my opinion, I think that's a trigger for Slaughter to get added to the pressure or since he's not manned up or his key's not DeAndre Moore. It's easy for Gunnar Helm to get to his shoulder, and then look at Bond. All Bond has to do is kick out this back here, or this DB right here, and you've got a lot of room in between Gunnar Helm and Isaiah Bond to pick up the first down minimum, And with DeAndre Moore's ability, he could easily make a man miss, and next thing you know, you could be looking at an 8, 10, 15-yard play.
You
And so, creative blocking, yes, but makes it a little more difficult on your players to execute.
you know what I would like to see is I would like to see almost like a, you know how similar, like sometimes when you have wide receivers, like if there's a certain coverage or a certain formation, the route will change based on the formation of the coverage that's presented.
Right, right.
Not
Now,
necessarily not an option route, but similar to an option route where it's like, hey, somebody lined up some exact spot is going to dictate the play and what I do on this play. What I'm trying to get at here is I think what would be kind of something that might be wise to do in the future is if there is a player that's in a spot where it's impossible for Isaiah Bond to get that block. Like
yeah,
that's just like, let's just call it what it is. That's not going to happen. Like unless you can move at light speed, you're just not going to be able to get horizontally that fast, especially when the guy is already walking up to the line of scrimmage. Now, this is probably a very one unique circumstance, but I would just like a almost like a switch because it's as simple as like a communication between Gunnar Helm and Isaiah Bond that, hey, this guy's I'm not getting to this guy right here, right? So
exactly.
you pick him up, I'm now picking him up versus because and we talked about this going into this video and the pre getting set up for this. We kind of feel like this is a setup. Or let me ask you this: do you feel like this was a setup play? Because another thing that I can see from this point of view, and this is something that I wanted to see. I saw it live and I was like, man, hey, let's hand this ball off to Trey, is because body on body, body on body. You can't see it right here, but body on body. You're gonna have a body on a body. That's gonna leave a one on one with Trey and this Trey and defensive back, and you can't really see it on this angle. But over here on this angle, if you watch this, I mean, you can see what I'm talking about. You got two. There's two Texas guys on that one guy. One body on that body. And by the way, when I say body, that's Kelvin Banks right now. So that's not like of all the offensive linemen that we're talking about. Hey, that might be one that I want to run behind. Okay, there's Matthew Golden lined up. Now you got Hayden Connor on a linebacker. I want this ball handed off and running this run right there. Just run right on Hayden Connor's butt. I mean, what do you say about that in this situation? Looking at it from this point of view.
Well, so you've got DJ Campbell and Jake Majors doubling right there very well. They're doing a great job. They're pushing that tackle around. Aiden Connor's just out there begging for someone to step up and challenge him. So looking at that still shot right there, it looks like a big play is just waiting right there. And so,
Well, let's also. I will say the ball's already moving, so let's kind of
of
go
course,
right.
and so
So
you
right
look at
here,
the
this still shots probably even a better representation of what you're saying
and
because
it's still
it still has
almost
all
the
the
same
same
play.
elements.
Exactly. And now look at the eyes in the backfield 10 for Arkansas over here on the boundary side left of the hash marks. His eyes are mostly on Quintravion from what it looks like, or Quinn, in the mesh mostly. But I believe the other backer, he kind of he's dialed in on more, maybe the mesh as well. But so to me, the misdirection that Sarkeesian loves to run is working right here because you got guys that are not really flowing anywhere, any weight direction right now, a little bit flat footed. And it's not like either one of those two guys are what made the play for Arkansas here. So I think it's working really well on the backers. Now, this is a simple play, and we probably don't even put it on this little highlight reel, Nash, if we do hand this ball off. Maybe so if it breaks off to be a big play. But for me, man, it's about moving the chains. And 3rd and 2 right here, I want to see Texas having that ability to consistently move the chains on the 3rd and shorts with the ground game. Now, I'm not saying that that's something that we're going to absolutely have to do, but when you look at holes like this, it's encouraging because you know that the scheme is working. You know that the offensive line is doing your job. It's a great double once again there by Jake Majors and DJ Campbell. Um, you look at Big Cam Williams. He did a good job about getting to the across the face here. And then obviously Hayden Conner's looking for somebody. Kelvin Banks is one on one, and Matt Golden's a great blocker out at the wide receiver position. So who knows what happens if this ball does end up in Quintravion's hands? But back it up a little bit more for me. Let's take one more look at Slaughter and that blocking that we talked about. So go back before, maybe right at the beginning before he walks up a little bit. Talking about what you mentioned in the switch right there, that is perfect, man. Talking about what you mentioned in the switch, right now for Isaiah Bond, if he takes like a shuffle step to his left and he knows that Gunnar Helm is kind of flaring out and going outside to block, he can kind of get to Slaughter right now. It's not
Go
an easy
underneath him.
ask. Yeah, he can go underneath really quickly and he can get inside him. Now, it's not an easy block, but Texas has a lot of his wide receivers when it comes to blocking, and they do it for the most part a pretty damn good job of it. So he can get there. But like you said, go ahead and show him walk down just a little bit, man. Because when he walks down just a little bit right there, Slaughter for Arkansas, that is going to cause issue as far as maybe just a little bit. Big difference right there. Now it is right as the ball's being snapped, so it's well played, well schemed by Arkansas and Slaughter. Slaughter good execution on his part. And what was already going to be a pretty difficult block becomes impossible. So you can't really knock Isaiah Bond right there, and then it would have been a very hard switch. But you would like Texas to be able to communicate late switches. Not saying that we're incapable, but it's a tough play. And ultimately, for me and Nash, 3rd and 2, we talked about it kind of during the game. I guess you don't see Texas play a little power football right there. They could have done big things if that ball goes to Quintravion. But at the same time, depending on what that blocking scheme looked like on the outside, I mean, the writing was on the wall for Dre to have a big play on his own.
And I mean, I think that's a great place to end this play on. If Quinn Ewers, here's the deal: if this play was a option play where Quinn has the option to hand it off to Trey, or he has the option to pass it to DeAndre Moore, the reality is that Quinn Ewers made a mistake here. He should have handed the ball off to Trey Wisner probably. But I mean, I get the feeling, and I'll ask you this real quick as the last question on this play. Do you think this was an option play, or do you think this was a play that I feel like this play was going to DeAndre Moore from the get go?
100% think it was going to DeAndre as well. I think that when it comes to the jet sweep stuff, most of that is not really, those aren't the type of RPOs we run. I don't know many that do when it comes to jet sweeps because it's such a limited amount of time for your decision making. And I mean, Quinn's pretty quick on trigger with his decision making in the RPO game. But this would have been of asking a lot. You would pretty much be asking him to make that decision pretty much right now. If it is an RPO of a sense, I know it's just a jet sweep, but still technically a pass. I don't see any way in the world that Quinn would have decided to go jet sweep over handing the ball off to 26 here. So I'm with you. I don't think it was a read or an option of any kind. I think it was always going to zero.
Hey, you know what? NCAA 25 has got got a lot more coaches out there now. You got the zone fake jet. All
Yeah,
right.
there's a lot going on right there, man. I love watching Sarkeesian and all the window dressing he does, and this play would have been really cool to watch if it had turned into a big play.
Oh, it'd have been awesome. All right. So I think that this is. I believe we might be at Ghost's favorite play of the day here. Okay. Well,
This is my favorite. Yeah,
I was okay. I was gonna say I might have spoke too fast because Gunnar Helm might be the man to Ghost's heart, but
good point.
I know Ghost was looking forward to this play. So let's go ahead and watch this one real quick. Got a little misdirection from Jaden Blue right here.
That's a beautiful
Gotta love
design
the
counter.
gotta love the big uglies getting out in front, don't you?
Absolutely. So just pause it right here. Thank you, sir. So Texas is in what is a 21 personnel. So on 21, once again, running backs, tight ends, when it talks about numbered personnel, just gives you an idea of the scheme, formation type that we're running, what type of Obviously, if you're running a lot of big tight end sets, be like in Iowa or Wisconsin, you know what type of plays are coming. But so your 21 personnel, you got Jaden Blue and Zach Quintravion as well back there, and then your one tight end over to the boundary side. But what you see right there is Jaden coming on the jet motion. Okay, so that's the first little bit of window dressing that Sarkeesian does, and then what does he do next? Nash, he comes back, it's past the tackle box, comes back here with a little half step, and now we're back into the orbit motion. All right, ball snapped. Pause it for me right there. All right, so what are we doing? We're faking right here, Jaden Blue, which is a play that we're totally capable of running out here to the wide side of the field with all his speed. And at this point, who's the lead blocker here? You got your two receivers, and then you got Contravion right there on the backer, and that's a totally feasible play for Texas to run right there. Like that's definitely in our realm. But you see what's happening with that offensive line. Got a couple pullers right there, and we're hitting them onto the boundary side, and there is a lot of room. Texas does a really, really dang good job here. Watch Cam Williams. Blows up there on the double. DJ Campbell working hard, moving up the field. Oh, that's not DJ. Sorry about that. Oh, that is DJ. Good job there. 76, Hayden Connor, co-SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week. That's a great effort right there. You can literally look at all five of those guys, tight end position as well. They do a really, really good job. Go into the overhead if we have it on this one as well, Nash. I think we'll be able to really see what the offensive
No,
lineman
we
did on
don't.
this play.
We don't.
Don't? Okay, no worries, my man. But
One thing
once
that
again,
I do want to add
go
real
ahead.
quick is, man, like you got look, we've had a fair amount of time where we've waited to see some, like, and really, if you think back to the Arkansas game, Quinn Ewers gets knocked on the ground. We're waiting for the offensive lineman to step up and protect our guy. Shit. Uh, so we're waiting for the offensive lineman to protect our guy. You should you should never have to ask an offensive lineman to go smack somebody, right? Like
No,
that's just like they should naturally want to beat the shit out of people.
yes, sir.
Cam Williams is looking for every last little block he can, and that you got
Yep.
you just like that. That's to me that's beautiful to me. So let's go back
Hey,
to
let's go back and
here's the
watch it
formation you
again.
were asking
Okay,
for.
so your puller, you're gonna have Hayden Connor at the left guard position right here, second lineman from the bottom. So Connor comes around. Watch Connor. Connor's gonna come around, show a lot of athleticism. We just talked about Big Cam fighting. Watch Kelvin Banks right here, blocked down, doing a great job. Um, all around an A+ effort. Kelvin Banks doing a great job. Hayden Connor right out there in the hole. Just, hey, I'm looking for somebody. Somebody step up and challenge me, please. I beg you. And a great job from Cam Williams, staying on a smaller, more athletic, obviously much quicker player. He stays on his block. It's so easy for that guy to kind of just shake free a big Cam right there, and maybe he gets in that hole and cuts that play off after 5 yards. But instead, hey, we get a little bit of him. We're fighting him. We're still working. Everyone's doing a great job. DJ Campbell whipping ass out there, baby.
I mean
Uh,
that right
whipping
there.
ass.
That's the block that in my opinion. That's the block that kind of almost there's so many blocks that make this play, but this one right here is just such a dominant block. Like the dude just looks helpless.
Yeah, I mean this is senior on varsity versus sophomore on JV, just whipping him. I mean,
Looks like his
whipping him,
Hutto
whipping him,
days,
whipping
doesn't it?
him. Yeah, and they're gonna have people crying about a hold because they don't understand ball. That's just getting your butt whipped right there. And so yeah, once again, shout out to DJ Campbell, shout out Hayden Connor. Look at the lineman down the field working. How many defensive players you have for Arkansas down here just to get Quintravion down. And I mean, this is effort right there. That's a great job by the offensive line all the way around. Gunnar Helm, it was a Helm or Juan Davidson. I mean, I'm assuming it was Helm, but
It was home.
um, it was Helm, of course. And so I mean, it's a great job all around. And so it's hard to pick. somebody that does the best job right here because you're talking about the job that Cam Williams does downfield, save, he turns in what could have been a 3 or 4 yard run into it helps to turn into a 10 yard run. Just Hayden Connor's presence, being an athlete and getting out there in open space is enough sometimes in the run game as far as blocking. And once again, DJ Campbell making bacon out of piggies.
And so here's something really interesting is you mentioned Gunnar Helm in this play. Like and I well here's the deal is I think that like you weren't even really 100% sure that Gunnar Helm was the one that was out there on this play.
Right.
Watch what Gunnar Helm does to a legit defense. Like this is a big boy that he's going out there and blocking, right? He ain't blocking no small dude.
Yep.
That's who he's blocking. Just watch that body, that red player the entire time. Because that's who Gunnar Helm is blocking.
Yep. Getting stuff done. Exactly. Just another guy
Getting
just crushing
that
it. Yep.
he just
I
shoved him in
mean,
a locker.
literally
Just stuffed him in a locker.
everyone crushes it. Right.
Yeah, this play, like, look, there are plenty of bad plays in this, in this, like, because we don't just want to highlight all the great plays, especially in a week like this where there's plenty to look at. But man, this is a good play. This is a fun one to look at.
It really is, man. This is a very well executed all the way around by everyone that was, a participant in this play. 10 out of 10 would watch again.
So this one we won't spend too long on, but I mean, look, if y'all for any of y'all that were out there at the post game show for on Ghost Channel that we had with Peyton, you might already have kind of an idea where we're going with this one. It's just Ghost. The reason why I wanted to include this play in here is because I feel like this shows one of the issues that this Texas team has, and one of the things that might keep us from winning a national championship. And this is the in a situation like this where you're 4th and 1, you should be able to just line up and go straight forward, north south. And to me, we're having to do too much of this extra stuff, too much of this, foo foo stuff, just to pick up a yard. And I just want to get your thoughts on this because like it's one of those things where it feels like this is a problematic thing to be this late in the season and you're having to almost get gimmick stuff just to pick up a 4th down.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, what they're doing is here is it's not power football, by any means. This is um, a bit of a go ahead and go a little bit more for it. I want to watch, or right as he's handing the ball off to Jarek. All right, so watch this backer right here stepping up for Arkansas. Okay, so this guy, this guy is everything. Sorry, the linebacker that's
Oh
right
man.
there just inside the field goal. I could have seen it just off the hash mark. So he's stepping up, and now his eyes are on. I want to say it's Jaden Blue back there. If he reads this play well at all, if he sees that handoff at all, this play is blown up in the backfield. Assuming Jarrett can't break a tackle, and I'm not going to doubt Jarrett Gibson because he is a rhino and
I
he's
mean,
a dog.
you're dead on right there because you can actually. This is one of those things where if you ever want to see where a player was supposed to be or they were intending to go, watch their hips and watch their feet. They will never be able to disguise themselves.
Yep. And he's definitely, he
Like you
knows
can
he's
see that
picking
that's
up.
that step right there.
Yeah, that half step by Jarek there, that is a great play by him. That's awesome. The offensive line does a really good job right here. And Arkansas, they have a guy in position to make a play here, but he had out leveraged himself. He had his key and he committed a little bit too hard. Probably lost the football for a minute in the backfield, and hey, and credit to Jarek though, he makes that half step. But I'm in agreement with you, man. In an ideal world, you're able to line up and pummel your opponents on the short down and distances. That makes the game of football a lot easier, especially as a play caller if you're Steve Sarkisian. And we saw it so many times with Bijan and Roshan, and then Jonathan Brooks again, and then of course Cedric Baxter having an input. And so you talk about the formation. Let's look at that real quick. Okay, now this is one thing you talked about. You said Fufu. Now this is just misdirection. It looks like sweep, and then we kind of hit them underneath. But you've got the old school, the full house backfield right here. We've got three running backs, and a lot of times, Nash, you line up right here. You're gonna have misdirection. You have all these backs. You have these different backers keying in on these backs, and they all of a sudden, like one back goes this way, here goes another. Your options are you're gonna run like maybe a lead left, lead right, maybe something straight up the middle. There's a couple different traps that you could run. I don't necessarily love this formation, to be honest with you, on a 4th and 1. It's not my favorite there. I do like the play call, to be honest with you, just because I do think it's a fun misdirection. I, as far as a football play goes, I don't love that my team ran it on 4th and 1 right here on the road, in a must-win game. But hey, it worked. We got points out of the drive, I believe. But at the end of the day, I hope that it's something that we shelve and we don't see a lot more often. I want more physicality out of the run game. Jarrett Gibson is fully capable of being very physical, but at the same time, I mean, this is a great half step that he made right there, and he knew what he had to do, got north and south. He picked up the first down, maybe by just a yard, but at the end of the day, we're moving sticks.
One thing I don't like about this play is no, it does feel like it feels like this is what they're trying to go for. They want a wall right here, and they want a wall right here, and I feel like he's supposed to go in through there, but he comes
Potential
on this
cutback.
backside.
Yeah, fair. Did you know the backers are all going to be flowing to this down here to the bottom of the screen here with this the
Yeah, like
potential
like
threat?
you can, but and it feels like Cam gets beat, right? And
All right,
to me,
fair
and
enough.
this is where I was saying, like,
Go
I
back to
just,
pre-snap real quick. I want to see what. I mean, yeah, this is a very real possibility. Go ahead and play it slow. Let's watch Cam right here. He's getting played head up.
I mean, you're
I don't
seeing
know.
that.
I was looking at DJ. I wasn't even looking at Cam as far as getting played head up. That's a tough ask. I mean, ideally, maybe Cam could have let that guy go and then just wash him with the flow. Let his momentum take him, and then they can run on the backside of Cam Williams. But that would have taken a little more patience out of Jarrett Gibson, and with the down being 4th and 1. I mean, yeah, that's tough. That's a good point, though, Nash. I do
I
like the
mean,
potential for a cutback there.
see, here's the problem with this play though. Like, because if this play was run exactly how it's supposed to be run, right? So say Jarrett Gibson goes exactly where it's supposed to go, right? Uh, the problem that I have is you have a whole bunch of blocking going on over here, and literally the entire play is going away from every piece of blocking that you have. Like
Yeah.
at that point, at that point, we're choosing to play 6-man football while the other team is playing 11-man football, right? Like we're limiting ourselves to our options are hand the ball off or toss it over here to one of these two dudes, and it's just you're limiting yourselves on numbers. I don't know, like it's just one of those things where if he goes where he's supposed to go to, no, I think that personally, limited ball knowledge that I do have, I think that Cam Williams gets blocked and Jarrett Gibson just kind of cuts inside because it does look like there was supposed to be a like if you go back just to right there where Cam you can see Cam Williams 56 jersey.
Hmm.
I feel like there's that's what the play is. Like that's the design of the play. Because I cannot for the life of me I can't understand why you would have all this blocked over there and then just say, "Hey, let's run the ball over here to let's have the entire play go over here to where there's no protection. We don't have like if you go to pre-snap, right? Like if you were going to do that, you'd at least Sorry about the.
Watch Gunnar Helm right here because he might make your point. Okay, well, just go through the flow of the play, and Gunnar, he's trying really, really hard. I can, what looks right, keep going. He blocks down. Look out, he's blocking down on big Landon Jackson. He's continue. He never looks like, he tries to. Which I mean, I guess either way, they're running right behind him. Who's Go back a little further. Let's see. Go back pre-snap one more time for me. All right, so go ahead and play it. This DJ Campbell at right guard. Was that? I mean, why not? Doesn't that look like DJ?
So you got there's Cole Hudson.
Oh,
Cole's
Hudson's
in.
in the game. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm losing it.
There's
Yeah, so
DJ
Cole Hudson,
or Cam
see, look,
Williams.
he's trying to get across this guy's face. Either that or he's off balance. And if he's trying to get it across his face, it really makes me think like it's going to be a cutback, you know? Um, it kind of feels like he's trying to get there to, create that wall at the next level. Um, but at the same time, that backer takes a half step towards play side and is able to kind of keep Cole off balance. So
You
it
know what?
might.
Yeah,
I was just
I think we do see that because I think this is like you can almost see Jared Gibson, his moment, like he's headed this way right here, right,
right,
and then
right.
you can see
Kind of
that
turns.
you can see that momentum change right there, or that where he's kind of changing direction a little bit. And this is one of the
Right.
things that's really hard. I wish we had all 22 access, like just as fans in general, because one thing that people don't understand about on the football field is, and this is like some Arkansas fans might go, well, why didn't this guy make the tackle? Right? It's like, well, I don't think you understand how far that little white mark is on the football field. Like
Yeah.
that's at least 3 to 6 feet, right? That's a human laying down. So it's just to cover distance in a split second is I don't know. Like I think people this angle of football field can kind of
Well, just look at his left foot, and obviously all of his weight's right there. His right foot's kind of sliding a little bit. He's committed. He's stuck. And considering that Jared Gibson's going north and south at this point, um, like there's just nowhere for him to make a
yeah, his
play.
moment he has to get a second step down. Like his
Yeah.
first step didn't even stop him, right? So
Right.
his ACL said, "Hey man, we let's not blow it today," or MCL, one of the
Yeah.
two, whichever one.
Landon Jackson did a good job of recognizing the play, but he's already been washed down too much. Um, so yeah, I mean it's a good job by Texas here, and ultimately by Jared Gibson. But I'd like to find my yards on 4th and 1 a little easier.
Yeah. So this one, look, y'all see me on Twitter. I've defended Quinn a lot. I'm defending Quinn in this video some. In my opinion, as much as this play only exists because of Quinn Ewers, and I just want to get see, if you agree on it because this one isn't one that really spend too much time on. I don't think, but I feel like if this ball is placed just 5-10 yards further, this is a touchdown, and a
Yeah.
defensive back doesn't even have a chance to make a play on it. So to kind of go
No,
to
I
what I
agree
was
with
talking
you.
about is, like, you already have right here. Right now, you can see Matthew Golden starting to slow down. Like he's starting to he's starting to turn his shoulders, sink his hips,
Yeah, he's slowed down a lot.
and he's slow. Like his ass is
He
to
had to
his
put,
ass is to the goal line. Like I mean,
yeah,
let's
he
just call
put
it what it
his
is.
parking brake on, but he's turned 180. Um,
I just feel like if that ball's right there,
yeah, if
is
that ball's 5 yard line or any further, even towards the pylon, I think that's Wingo's ball. I mean, sorry, Golden's ball, and I mean, I like the decision, I do. Let's go back to pre-snap real quick just to show, why this kind of came up. So this is a great shot right here. You can see the three high safeties for Arkansas now. Texas is in a closed formation on the right side with the tight end, but you got trips left, this right here would be, guys, come on, what are we in? We're in, what are we in? What are we in? It's just 11 personnel. It's all about running backs and tight ends. We got one of each. So blue flares out. They make it look like screen. Quinn throws the pump fake in case y'all missed that. We had the earlier double move for the touchdown. And so
The
blue,
exact same pump fake.
yeah, yeah. And okay, so it wasn't blue. Okay, he
No,
does flare out
it
after.
was Wisner. Yeah.
It was Weisner, sorry. As Weisner flares out after we have some short motion. But so Golden's releasing down the sideline right now as we speak, okay? Now he clears this cornerback. Okay, I don't know what he's doing, why he kind of just doesn't flip his hips and run with Matt Golden. Maybe it's the play design and he wasn't ready. He had his eyes in the backfield. I don't know because I couldn't really see that all the way over there. But maybe Quinn can recognize, if you rewind it just a little bit there, Nash, look right out. Well, kind
Yeah,
of hard to see if we
we
don't
don't
have
get to see enough of it yet.
but look at where that guy's hips were. Like I
Mhm.
said, his back wasn't to Quinn. He wasn't turning and running with Golden. His hips were open. His chest is towards the middle of the field. Quinn probably could have fit this ball in there with some zip right there over the top of that DB's head in between the safety. Or you throw that ball out because the safety doesn't really take a great angle. He was a little late on getting there. And so when you're late, his only chance is what? That ball being severely underthrown, which it is. If Quinn puts that ball, where's that safety right now? He's still flat footed because why? He's got somebody he has to worry about in
He
front
has
of
to
him.
worry about him.
Absolutely does. So I love the play design from Sarkeesian here. You got the late post with the late release down the sideline. You can throw that ball right now if you're Quinn, which he's getting ready to, but it just doesn't need all that air, in my opinion. You make one or two throws. You zip it in right now, and you have that ball completed on about the 20-yard line, or you have it completed on about the five.
Well, and
You know,
I feel like if he makes that same throw, just with more zip, so same placement, more zip, we're talking
it's got
about
it right
like
there,
right there the balls in Matthew Golden's hands.
and he might even score if the ball's
And
caught right.
and here's the problem that I have about this with Quinn is think back to A.D. Mitchell multiple times, Alabama, TCU. Uh, I I could probably go back and find many more examples on film. This is one of Quinier's best throws, in my opinion. His the whole shot on the sideline. He is
Yeah,
he's really good at this throw, and it just man, it was for me to see him miss this one. I was like, you know what? I know I'm a Quinn, Quinn apologist over here, right? But he's got to make that one.
no, that's just a throw that this much experience that Quinn has. He's been around for a long time, man, and I know that he hasn't necessarily thrown to Matt Golden for a necessarily long time, but I just think that's a ball that Quinn's capable of completing, and if he does there, like we said, Matt could score. He could sneak down that sideline. He makes one move on this safety who's committing all of his energy. Could have scored there.
All right. Oh yeah, this is the man after Ghost Sart right here.
Poetry, baby. The Gunnar Helm Show continues. Returns to Austin, Texas this weekend. This is a beautiful play design. Texas loves to run play action, and they love to pull guards to help protect in their play action. And so, as you can see here, let's go through it slow, Nash. Juan Davis is lined up over there with Gunnar Helm as well. Okay, so how many tight ends, guys? We got two tight ends, one back. So for the first time on the show tonight, we've got 12 personnel. This is a little bit of a Sarkeesian staple. Now, we haven't seen it a ton lately. He loved to run it early in his time at Texas. He loved to run it at Alabama. You're talking about lining up big bodies. We've already got big humans. Shout out Kyle Flood and the recruiting that he's done for Texas. But when you're talking about adding tight ends to the mix and you got one back, you're sending a message that you want to run the football. And so the play design here, it's second and 14, and so this is where, hey, are we running the football on second and 14? Arkansas is probably really curious as to what we're about to do here. For me, I had no clue, and I'll be honest. Most times, I can sniff out a screen pretty early in play. I didn't see this. I really didn't, because the left side of the line does such a great job. But let's go through it slow, Nash. Okay, we're lined up 12 personnel. Hayden Connor's going to pull from left to right as we go through the play fake. Okay, cowboy out, play fake there. Now pause. See Hayden Connor going. Okay, now what do we look like on the left side over here? Okay, everybody's hat on hat except for who? Gunnar Helm. What's he doing? He's sitting and waiting. Okay, he's in pass pro, right? This looks like a standard drop back or play fake drop back pass right here, and it still does. Okay, and Quinn, I mean, hell, he did a great job here too. Look at the wide receivers bottom of the screen selling
I
it.
mean,
Look
it
at Juan
looks like a
Davis.
pocket. Looks
It
like they're
does.
trying to set a pocket right now.
It does. And look at Juan Davis at the top of the screen. He looks like he's busting his butt to get into a route. This is great effort all the way around. Nothing here looks or smells like screen in any way.
No, and
Okay?
then even
No,
more so, look at the. You're gonna see a guy that makes probably the best block on this play. Does he look like he's running downfield for a screen, or even worried about a potential screen happening? Like,
still engaged.
and this is one of those things that's gonna get this dude's getting drafted very very high, top 5 draft pick. Like I don't care. I could care less about. I understand there's Travis Hunter, there's Shitter Sanders and all that stuff. There are just there's NFL teams understand exactly how rare it is to find a tackle that is of Kelvin Banks' prestige. Like I mean, this dude is like legit. Like for him to be able to move this fast, offensive line just and then not only that, but like to be able to block, have that side, like for everything that Kelvin Banks can do to come in one player, it just that does not happen often, you know.
Leave it right here. One more second. Go back just a half second, real quick for me. Or you can even yeah, just perfect right there. Perfect. Okay, so and what I want you to go slow in just a moment again, but real quick, where are Quinn's eyes? He's looking to the right side of the field, right? He's looking downfield. Now look at this player in the middle of the screen right there on the 7.5 yard line for Arkansas. Um, the DB right over center, whoever, I guess that's backer right here, Nash, who's on about the 37.5. This guy right, perfect. Look at where his eyes are. Look at where his legs are going, his hips are going, his weight, everything. Okay. Now the DB and the safety in the back, he is opening up his hips to follow Quinn's eyes. Okay, excellent job. The DB at the bottom of the screen that Nash circled first, his hips, his eyes, where? Boom, right there. Everything is flowing to the right. Then, just like that, snap second, Quinn flips the hips. He doesn't just turn around and float the ball. He dumps it very quickly to to Gunnar Helm. Shout out Blake Helm. Hope you're watching. Gunnar Helm, who just turns around, and now watch Kelvin Banks, as Nash said earlier, who's already done a hell of a job on this play. He gets out there. 30 is the only guy that can blow this play up whatsoever, and Kelvin just enough to push him
And
inside.
so I mentioned this to you. If I'm 30, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off because I knew the play was happening. You can like
He
it
sniffed
almost
it out.
like to me when I watch this play back, I'm thinking like when I'm watching 30 right here, okay? I
He
feel
plays it
like
well, man.
he's testing, right? He's like he's throwing the bait out there. He's saying, "Hey, let's see if Gunnar Helm falls for this trap." Because like I was telling you before, when you're in pass blocking, like you said, you're trying to set a pocket. You're not worried about going and attacking anybody. Like you're not run blocking. Run blocking, it's just a matter of let's run that way and let's just knock some dudes over, right? Like that's run
Right.
blocking to a T. And but pass blocking, hey, we got a responsibility. We got to set an edge. We just have to maintain a pocket for our quarterback, right? So you're
Right.
not going to necessarily go out there and allow maybe this guy can spin and maybe just you're allowing more passes to the quarterback that shouldn't exist if you go out and attack somebody. And I feel like what this dude is trying to do is he's saying, hey, let me test him. And then the second that he starts to back away, like he never makes contact with Gunnar Helm. And I think that this is one of the things that sells this block, like sells it so well, you know, just makes this play perfect because the guy's like, okay, yeah, Gunnar Helm, he's here to pass block. He's not like if you look at Gunnar Helm, he ain't doing shit right now, right?
Right.
And then as soon as the
That's
guy turns around, Gunnar Helm turns, catches the ball, and then the guy turns back around. Now he's got Kelvin Banks in his face, and he's just sitting there going, "What the hell?"
right.
I knew the play was coming, and I just got beat. I don't know. This is great play, but
This is the second 14, still early in this game, 7-0. I mean, this is a big play. Texas gets points on this drive. This is a big play right here. You very easily, you run a standard pass play or you try something else in the run game and have another third and long, and instead Texas is moving the sticks and again score points here and important on the road to continue to build that lead and do what you have to do. And the impressive part about this play is just the scheme. I mean that whole design was
absolutely.
obviously the execution was great. Um, but that scheme, man, that put number 30 on. Like you said, Nash, he sniffed it out a little bit. Um, Kind of tried to see what Blake was going to do. Great job by Juan Davis, still down the field
And
working.
that's the part of the scheme that I don't think that we hadn't even touched on, even talking about like preparing for this video. Juan Davis the entire time, like you mentioned, he's running down there with intent, and he's looking like he's out there trying to like his hair's on fire trying to get down there for a route.
Right.
And then what does he do? He goes and seals up the safety, the only guy that can prevent Gunnar Helm from getting a first down on this play. And what happens?
Yep.
Juan Davis.
It's
I
a
mean, Juan Davis might
Juan
be one
Davis.
of the most like overlooked players on the roster this year. He's been on the field for some key plays, and he just goes about his business and he doesn't complain about stuff. And I love me a Juan Davis, man.
I hear nothing but very positive things as far as how he handles himself on the field. He's a terrific player in practice. Um, Love to have Juan Davis. That was a huge play. Huge job by Kelvin. Huge job by Juan.
Yeah, love to see it. So here we got 3rd and 12. Third downs are going to be a key, knowing the down and distance is going to be a key thing in this breakdown. But let's go ahead and watch this play. This one is mainly more about what was not called than because I mean obviously you got Steve Sarkisian absolutely losing his mind. This is more. I just want to break down the form of Steve Sarkisian right here. So right here, look. Anytime you see the hand, first off, go near the face mask area,
And the body
and
twisting
then
like that.
and then you watch the head get turned around like that. Yeah,
It's
I
dangerous.
think there might have been a face. Yeah, dangerous, but and then also like you gotta love our guy up there, absolutely losing his mind.
Sure, he very politely asked the official how he missed that call.
Oh yeah, no. Now he's turned to now he's turned for the real explanation. He's like, come on now, because at that point, here's the part that I do love about coaches. At that point, the flag could still easily be coming, right? But they're all like you. This guy over here was a coach at one point, and I guarantee he'd be losing his mind. Like,
Let me tell you right now,
where's my
I'd be asking
flag?
if he threw it right now. I'd have been asking his butt what took so damn long to get the flag out of his pocket.
Uh, yeah. So, not gonna
Let's
blame.
go back to Washington just one more time, real quick, just so we can kind of show what Arkansas did. We'll give them a little bit credit, a little bit of credit here. So Texas is in an empty set. Um, as you can see, you've got Blake Helm, bottom of the screen, the goat, but Arkansas is showing an all-out blitz right here. I mean, you got six guys lined up across the line of scrimmage. It looks like
Oh,
they're all coming.
hold on. Sorry,
And
I'm
watch. Go
the
ahead. What's that?
11th guy's down there. The 11th. I was like, where the hell's the 11th guy?
I
He's
was about to say I didn't know if it was bottom screen or not, but
well. You can see the. I think you can see the helmet just poking
very
through
good.
right there
That's
through
got to be
the.
it. Yeah, Blake's not normally at the bottom or
No, no.
on the outside of formations. But you can see what Arkansas is doing here. They're showing all out blitz. You know, the bottom three guys on the screen all have their hand in the ground. The top three are all standing up. It looks like those three on the top are, almost guaranteed to be coming. And so, ball snapped, and watch those three gentlemen at the top of the screen as far as the guys that are lined up on the line of scrimmage. One step, and now what are we doing?
You're
Everybody's
actually
dropping,
bringing two dudes over here.
and they're bringing from the other side. So this is what we call a zone blitz or dog blitz. It just depends on what your verbiage is. So what they're doing is those three guys, one has flat, one has middle, one has other middle, and it looks like they're just kind of playing, middle zones, curl zones, hook zones, whatever you'd call it. But Texas is trying to catch Arkansas on the blitz here, and so they go to the boundary side. For you guys, I've said boundary side and field side several times tonight. For you wondering, um, so if Texas is lined up right here, going back, we're on the left hash. Okay, so the short side of the field, right here, up to the our sideline, that would be considered the boundary side. The wider side is going to be the field side. And so,
Oh,
coming to
sorry.
this, I love when teams. Steve Sarkisian likes to do this. I like when teams unexpectedly, on 3rd and 12, 3rd and 7. This was something Mike Gundy did extraordinarily well at Oklahoma State. Not so much anymore, but he loved to take, times like this, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, and he'd run some type of counter up here to the top of the screen where there's less room and where it makes just a little bit more, or less sense rather, to attack there because there is less room. So I like Texas trying to hit Arkansas kind of with the quick hitter here. Now, this is a spot where it's 10-0 late in the second quarter, and I guarantee you Texas is thinking it because at this point, Arkansas is not doing anything on offense. So this is a safe play. Maybe you pick up 7 or 8 yards and you have a field goal attempt. Maybe you pick up 10 and you have an option to go for it on fourth down. Maybe you don't get anything and you punt the ball, and Arkansas has 2 minutes. Hopefully, we can pin them inside the 15, 10 or 15. I would have higher ambition, Nash, but our punting game has struggled a little bit. But it's a safe play call, and I can see, it makes sense to me. I don't have an issue with it because Arkansas's offense was not doing much, and so if we do punt the ball, we still have a shot to get the ball back before half and add points on the scoreboard. But you got to call that face mask, man. That's blatant. That's a
I
very
mean,
egregious miss.
I like the play call in the sense that this is we're you see a lot of screens with this offense, and at this point, it's because it's what this offense does well. Our offensive line can move down the field. They're pretty athletic for big humans. They
Yeah,
pass block extremely well, and with the amount of misdirection that you can get from Steve Sarkisian, like we've talked about earlier, you can get guys really already leaning one way and have the play go the completely different. Because really all a screenplay is just like it's like if Houdini were to make plays, right? Like you're making play you're drawing plays to look like they're going to a completely separate area, but then you're also trying to get a bunch of blockers at this one area, right? You're trying to say, hey, look over here while I'm going over here, you know?
right, right. And I mean, Texas runs so many screens, and Sarkisian obviously knows that other defenses and defensive coaches are well aware of how many screens Texas runs. So to me, I chalk it up as maybe we're looking to attack the field side with that trip set over there, and Arkansas just didn't really take the bait, and they had a really good play called.
Yeah. So here we got 3rd and 3, another third down situation. Motion out to the trip side. And this one we kind of talked about on stream. I think that really kind of you really nailed this on the hit the nail on the head, and I think that this is kind of we've kind of had a lot to talk. We've kind of almost talked through this quite a bit leading up to now. It really does feel like Quinn Ewers was just trying to protect the football right here. Uh, we think that, man. I mean, and our like in my opinion, I think that we both agree that there were two options that were really wide open that are going to almost get you a guaranteed first down. And then there was a third option that Quinn Ewers looks like he was actually looking at and ready to throw to that for if you go off Quinn Ewers' history of throwing intermediate passes and the ability to throw accurate passes, he's probably going to hit this pass, and if he just lets it rip. But it does feel like he just knowing the knowing the time and the situation, you're at a you got a 10 point lead. Arkansas has nothing on the board, right? 32 seconds left, 3rd and 3. Let's not do anything stupid here, right? Let's not don't give Arkansas the ball. Like you look at the distance. How much did we bitch about the Georgia game where we're talking about, hey, we can't be giving the ball in short distances. And you know what? If Quinn Ewers is going at it from this angle, then you know what? Hey, I kind of like that because it shows that he's at least trying to. He's trying to win a game. He's not trying to win a battle, or trying to win a game,
Yeah,
not
man.
trying to win a play.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. And take us back to the beginning, if you don't mind. Let's. I like the formation that we're running right here. So yeah, as you said, man, you got 32 seconds left in this half. Hey, you're on your own 24-yard line. The percentage of you scoring points right here is very, very low. Okay, just you have no timeouts. Okay, so for me, what you just said about Quinn, it makes the point even further. Okay, so anyway, so Texas is in an empty set to start to play, but they're still in 11 personnel because Jaden Blue, or is it Weisner? I'm not sure. It's at the very top of the screen at
That's blue.
tailback, and then you have Blue. Okay, so Blue's at the top of the screen at tailback. You have Gunnar Helm lined up in the slot on the boundary side, and now so tight bunch down here at the bottom. Now Blue comes in motion. Obviously, we've seen the play. Um, he comes in motion, and at this point, I'm really liking what we're doing here. I love when we have motion. I love when we have this flare motion, the orbit motion. But go ahead now, Mash. Let's hit it. If you want to hit it from the overhead, that's fine too, or either way. But so at this point, you're assuming mesh of some sort is coming out of this bunch set. It's a short down the distance. Texas wants to move the chains and keep the clock running, and sure enough, with Gunnar Helm lined up tight up there, we do get mesh. So mesh is just multiple receivers crossing, to shallow or intermediate routes. So underneath, here on the bottom right, you got Isaiah Bond. Okay, he's going to be running just shy of the sticks, roughly about a yard short of the first down. You're on the overhead, you can't see the yellow line. And then behind him, you're going to have Gunnar Helm. Okay, and then behind Gunnar Helm, you're going to have Silas Bolden. So this is a super mesh,
It's layered. It's
almost like
layered. It's a very
it's
layered
layered.
play.
Some people call it levels, call it layers.
And that's
Man,
actually for this is actually something that really would help a lot of people understand exactly what we're talking about here. Is if you play a lot of NCAA football or Madden, you know this play is levels. This is the
yeah,
levels play.
it is. And so you see right here, pretty good job by the offensive line. We've got a clean pocket as you should. You have a three-man rush. Okay, you cannot allow a three-man front, even if one of them is a big beast and he's fellow East Texas guy and Landon Jackson.
Beast
They're
Texas.
doing a good East Texas baby, but they're doing a great job right here. Okay, we're over a second into this play or right out of second into this play. And so right here, what are we looking at? You've got Isaiah Bond kind of running free at the bottom of the screen, but there's also a lot of eyes on him. You've got three different groups of Razorbacks, or three different groups or pairs of Razorback eyes. They kind of have, they can see Gunnar Helm, they can see Isaiah Bond, and then you see Silas Bolden kind of getting a little bit behind them there. Okay, so let's move a little forward, Nash. But let's watch Quinn Ewers' eyes. Let's pause it right there, Bubba. Perfect. All right.
He's
So as you
glued
can
on
see,
Golden.
he is locked into the maximum on Matthew Golden. Okay. Now here's the thing: Matthew Golden's running the deep end route, so you have crazy amount of levels happening on this play. And not only is Bolden running the deep end, but he's kind of trailing, the depth of the route that Silas Bolden is running.
Mm-hmm.
So you're putting a lot of stress on the middle of that Arkansas defense. I mean, there's a ton right there. Now we have to pick our target. We have to lock in. We have to make a play. Now, once again, it's only a three-man rush, but then again, you don't have forever. So right here, Nash, what are you thinking Quinn Ewers is about to do?
I mean, we've talked about this plenty before. I like you can see right here in about like a split second, he's about to start separating the ball, and he's about like he's in my
He's letting it
opinion right
rip.
now. Right now is when he started to make the throw.
Yeah,
Like this is the moment when the synapses are now firing, right, and the message is actually probably going through his nerve system right now,
yeah,
saying, "Hey, let's throw the football."
yep.
Because you look at this, like I mean, we've talked about this. We talked about this on your show. Uh, there's an open window right there. There's open space, open field. There's plenty of open field, if especially if Matthew Golden is about to break in, and it feels like this is one of those anticipation throws that Quinn has done really well on in his career.
Right, and like once again, guys, Matthew Golden's running the deep end. We know this because we watched the play. Quinn Ewers knows this because I mean they rep this all the time. So like it does not look super open at this moment unless you can anticipate that Matthew Golden breaks and that this defensive back right here in between Golden and then our mesh of receivers, this random DB, Gunnar Helm, again, he is coming through on the mesh. That DB is going to honor him. He is going to play a step or two his way, and he might come down a step or two. And now look at his body. He is flat footed, his hips are towards the line of scrimmage. He cannot just turn, flip his hips, or jump 3 feet in the air to really get in the way of a pass if Quinn decides to make it. So let's keep going slowly forward, and you'll see right here as we're as Nash said, he's pretty much made the decision. This is where I'm going with the football. Right now, he's letting it. His
Hands are
arm's
starting to
starting to go
separate
up.
right there.
Let's look at that DB. What did we talk about? He's coming down. He's
Mm-hmm.
taking a step down, and he's taking a step over, following Gunnar Helm, which makes that window that didn't necessarily look so big a moment ago, all of a sudden, it's opened up pretty big. Okay. Now, as we'll see, Quinn, he does not fire. Okay.
He pulls it
He
down.
pump fakes, pulls the ball down. And now here's the thing. Maybe Quinn could see that this guy in the middle of the defense had kind of overplayed on the Gunnar Helms mesh, and he knew out of the back of his mind that, hey, these other two guys on the mesh route, there's a really good chance that they're open. But to me, peak Quinn Ewers, prime Quinn Ewers, he throws a seed right in there to Matthew Golden, hits him between the number, and that's a relatively easy throw for Quinn, in my opinion. So I am curious as to why he hesitated there, but at the same time, in the back of his mind as well, could be the fact that hey, there's 30 seconds left. Steve Sarkisian probably got in his ear and was like, "Hey, the only way we hurt ourselves right here is if we turn the ball over." Arkansas gets the ball at half, I believe they did. He's like, "The only way we get hurt right here is if we do something silly." And so ultimately, this play hurt Texas none whatsoever. But I mean, if this isn't with 30 seconds left in the second quarter, and we're not on the road in a tight ball game, like I need to see Quinn pulling the trigger right there, or going a little quicker through his progressions, finding a Silas Bolden to me, who was probably my first option right here. But Quinn was glued. He was glued in on Maddie.
And I'll say this: and if we're gonna also break down just general film too, uh, the only other problem that I have with this play right here is you're gonna watch Silas. If you look at the play, this is like as important as information as you could ever get.
Yeah,
3rd and 3. You're not very. We've seen Steve Sarkisian against Florida go for it on 4th down in his territory, right? But this is very much even further back than that. Almost it feels like this is like you don't want to go for it on 4th down.
no, there's nothing to gain. You
Silas
have no
Bolden, in
time.
my opinion, right now maybe it's because Gunnar Helm is running on is running on that line, but I want Silas Bolden running right here because I want if
Okay.
Quinn Ewers targets Silas Bolden, I want the second that ball touches his hands and that is a complete catch. I want us to have forward progress as a 1st down. Because if for some reason Quinn Ewers throws the ball and say this guy comes up, makes an amazing play, we can still be on fourth down, fourth and inches, or something like that.
Yeah.
Because he's a yard off the first down line. So I mean that's just in my opinion that was just the last little touch that I it's and you know what these are the devil in the details. Details are a lot of times the difference between winning a football game and losing a football game, and sometimes that could be picking up first down versus not picking up first down. But like you said in this position,
Absolutely.
I think that given what had happened versus Georgia, what has happened in the past recently for Texas, probably taking care of the football was at a paramount, and that probably was in Quinn Ewers at the forefront of his mind as because I mean you look at his history with the intermediate routes, those anticipatory throws, he lets that thing rip 9 times out of 10. It feels like.
And to make your, I mean, to credit Quinn, because I mean, a lot of people want to give him flack 24/7. It seems like you're talking about anticipatory throws. That throw he made to Gunnar Helm that was, unfortunately dropped by Gunnar was one of Quinn's best throws he's made in his career.
And we don't have that in here, but I mean that was a beautiful. It was
Yeah,
on the money.
on the money. So, yeah, right here, just kind of the nightmare that Taylon Green had to face for 3.5 hours with Texas's defense. Um, Yeah, that speed, that's power, and then that's a lick right there. Colin Simmons puts his shoulder pads right between the numbers and the rib cage. Now watch this, okay? First off, if any future offensive lineman or aspiring offensive lineman watch this video, um, Marion Harris, number 76, Arkansas. Now, don't get me wrong, Colin Simmons, we're about to see it. Now, Nash, show him what we talked about. Colin Simmons is working on this play before anybody else is working. He's already um see right now he is
You don't
you
see
know,
any Texas players moving like
no,
you don't even see
he's
any offensive linemen moving yet.
yeah. And so I mean the ball is literally, moved but not completely off the ground, and Colin Simmons is already on his pass rush. And so at this point, Harris is real laid out of his stance in comparison to Simmons getting off the ball. But then look how vertical he tries to get. And for numerous reasons, this is terrible. But he's backpedaling, and Simmons has all this speed, had a great jump. He's standing straight up. Um, Simmons could have, he could have done a lot of things. He could have swim moved to the inside here
Bull
and
rushed him, just knocked him over.
yeah, yeah, could have bull rushed him. Simmons was going to kick his tail right here any which way that he wanted to. And now here's the thing. I mean, he's coming on Taylon Green. Taylon Green looks to the right side first. Doesn't appear to see Colin Simmons whatsoever. Turns his back on him, turns his eyes on him, and all of a sudden, man, he's a very big, great athlete. And Taylon Green, what 6'5", 220 pounds, is manhandled by
It's
true
almost
freshman
it's
Colin
almost like
Simmons.
this really looks like a blindside sack from the
Yeah,
very
it
not
does.
so blind side.
Right. And
Like
so let's go back again. Let's watch Texas in coverage right here. Let's talk about Texas in coverage. Um, so this is
I
it looks
just
like I believe this is a tight end for Arkansas here in the flat or in the slot on the boundary side. So I want to say they're in which would just be 11 personnel, three receivers, one tight end, one back. But so let's watch Texas here. Go ahead and roll it slow for us. Okay, we bring a blitz from
Muhammad's
the
coming up,
boundary. Yep, we bring the corner blitz
and
from the
and
boundary.
we're trading one off. Trey Morris dropping off on the other
Trey
side.
Moore, Trey Moore's playing flat. We talked about this earlier. You call this a zone blitz or a dog zone blitz. So Trey Moore, it looks like he's going flat. Okay, plays right there. Texas does a really good job in coverage on the right side, and that's what forces Taylon Green to look over here. Now, so I want to say that receiver Nash came open a little bit late. Let's see here. Yeah, so he's
Well,
not
he's already
open.
off him. Yeah, Taylor Green's
Yeah,
already off him.
he's already off him. I'm kind of curious about the scheme here for Arkansas because you have two receivers just right beside one another there for about what 10 yards into the route. They just ran a little rail. Okay, so yeah, Arkansas runs a little rail. Um, which takes a little while to develop. And Texas is blitzing a defensive back off of that side, so not really a lot of time for Taylor Green to sit there, progress that, and then hit the post pattern on the rail route. Um, the rail is normally just a post from the outside and then the wheel route from the inside. And so he's forced to look to the left side. Texas looks to be locked up in coverage over there. Good job by Trey Moore, showing a lot of athleticism, dropping back in pass coverage. Let's keep it going, brother. Texas is doing a good job right there. He would have had to get rid of the ball right here, but none of his receivers were really in a position where they're sat down in their routes. It looked like they ran a rail on that side too, and then they just slared the running back. So Texas had a really good defense called for this. It helps to have a freak in Colin Simmons coming off the edge. And once again, guys, I mean, it has been a very long time since Texas has had a pass rusher with this ability. Not to knock any of the guys that have been around and some of the great pass rushers we've had. It's just that I think Colin Simmons has the potential to be a top 5 draft pick in the NFL um,
I
somewhere
mean,
down
it
the
really
line.
like you know you got to be in some special territory when like I agree with you, man. The only name that I can think of that I think is even in the same just stratosphere as what Colin Simmons is and will be in his career is Brian Arakpo.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
Rackle's awesome.
it's just for me like I would love to say Sergio Kendall because Sergio Kendall was a dog like that. That's for my age group, right? That's one of our that's one of the best Longhorns that we've ever signed. That's one of the highest recruits that we've ever gotten. He certainly played his ass off here at Texas. Like he was not bad in any like he was damn good, very good. And for us to be able to say like, hey, he's just not Sergio Kendall's not on the same level as Colin. That's a beautiful thing to be able to say about a current Texas player. And to be
And
honest, this is
Colin,
also where
listen,
Texas needs to be.
no, absolutely. I mean, it's great times. It's just I mean, if you look at the type of pass rushers that we recruited in the last couple of cycles, but I mean, dude, it's Colin's special. The twitch, the athleticism. I mean, it's different, buddy.
Yeah, and on this one, I didn't really want to spend too much time on this one, but I just because we are pretty far into it, and I don't want to. For those of y'all, I please like the video and go subscribe to Ghost channel because this guy is it's 2:15 and this dude is absolutely he's been a trooper, helped me out,
Oh, we're
staying up
doing
through
great,
this
man.
one.
I'm having fun. Having
He's
fun.
probably wondering what natural cocaine is flowing through my body that I have this much energy this late at night. But I tell people I'm a night owl, man. But yeah,
I'm nocturnal, so
this play, I just one, y'all know me. I love my Jaden Blue. But two, look for a team that has struggled with run blocking and just you know running the ball in general. This is beautiful to just sit here and watch. Watching guys go out, make blocks, watching DJ Campbell get out there, but and then at the same time, get the ball secured, Jaden Blue. Come on now.
yep.
And I will say this was a key point in the game. Uh, that ball. Look at
Heart
the
attack
score.
city, man.
Look at the
Heart
score.
attack city.
If
Heart
they get
attack.
that ball, it's like I mean we're our defense who had played I mean like I was reading off the and I'll just go ahead and read it off for the good people here, Ghost, because like I was reading this off to you earlier. You know, you got what? It's a here, hold on. Let me get it right. There we go. Okay, but the drive these are the drives from Arkansas in the leading up to that part. You have 7 yards, 9 yards, 6 yards, 15 yards, 29 yards, 4 yards, -6 yards, -5 yards. Then they have a 12. Then they have a 75-yard drive. Then they have a 39-yard drive, and then this is the drive that's happening for Texas. So Arkansas has just started to put together some good drives, and for for that ball to go out of bounds, DKR was watching
Good,
over us. DKR was
good,
watching over us. Okay,
good, 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 clean living, Bubba.
huh?
So that's good clean living from all those Austinites.
Oh
Football
yeah.
gods are smiling on us there.
No, I've always said that for those of y'all that remember, we were playing Iowa State at home under Tom Herman, and it was in 2020. And if the University of Texas wins this football game, we go to the Big 12 championship, and Tom Herman is returning coach for the University of Texas. Dicker, the kicker, goes for like a 61-yard kick. The
Hmm.
ball is just dead middle for 50 for 40 of the 60 yards, and then at the last 15 yards, it just takes a wild turn right, goes foul. We lose the game, and Steve Sarkisian is the University of Texas head coach. I've long said that was the ghost of DKR blowing that one out.
Hey, I'm okay with it. I think we all knew at that point it was all about over. So a little bit bittersweet because I was ready.
All right, let's try and get this over before Go Size close. It's
Oh,
like
you're
growing.
good. This is my natural.
Yeah, hey, this one right here. I mean, just like you mentioned it. How many times have we ran this play? This one just feels like one of those plays that this Texas team could just run in their sleep. They could. I mean, they this feels like one of the plays that we know the best, and it also it feels like one of the plays that we're the best at running.
Yep. So I love this from Texas right here. You're talking about second and goal from the 1.5 yard line. You're in 12 personnel. You got both tight ends lined up in the boundary over there. You have Wingo in the slot. You bring him across in the jet motion. So to say all that, look at what we have on the top of the screen. You have everybody. You have 20 of the 22 players on the field, all right here. Just it's a perfect rundown for Texas. And what do? We go to the automatic one-on-one outside because Arkansas has to commit all these bodies into the run game. You're playing 10 on 10 there in the middle. Not that we really use Quinn's legs, but we've shown that we can. And so you have to honor him on the goal line. He scored plenty of goal line touchdowns. And now, so you've got Matthew Golden one on one, and he scored on this route against Colorado State. He scored on this route against Michigan. He scored on this route, I want to say, one other time. And so this Quinn on the move, let me tell you something, man. This is a dot. This was a perfectly placed ball and also a damn good catch by Matthew Golden.
And
Um,
I mean to
maybe the play of the day for Quinn.
to also like point out like the isolation that you get on this. This is literally just isolating Matthew Golden and saying, "Hey, we're gonna go beat you, right? Like my
Yep.
guy's gonna beat your guy, right?"
Yep.
You look at 17 right here. His rump in about 5 seconds is gonna be to Matthew Golden, and you look at this like you said, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 bodies. And
Look at all that room
not a
there.
single one of them, not a single one of them is even worried about this dude. Like this is what you call being put on an island. And
That is a little shuffle outside release right there, and then turns it into the comeback. So it's not the same route that he scored on with Michigan. That was a speed out. But I mean, we
it's just a
continue
general
to attack.
concept, the concept of of
Right,
the play.
right.
And then
Attacking
to
near the front goal line
that
and
angle really doesn't
attacking.
show the justice.
Oh, this is the angle right here, baby. This is
This
perfect.
is
Look at this throw on the move. Tight spiral from Quinn. Placed right where only his guy can get it. Not even where the Arkansas defensive back can make a deflection on it. I mean, and then strong hands on Matthew Golden's part to hold on and finish a touchdown. And
that's
this is a
also
drive.
that's the key
Go
point
ahead.
too. Like look at if you look at this, that's you can see the fingers, the gaps
Yep.
in between the fingers. What he is doing, this defensive back is actually doing a pretty good job. Like no, I have
Oh,
limited
this is
ball
great
knowledge, right?
coverage.
But what he's using is he's using the wide receiver's body, and this is the only way that you could ever possibly like go about this without getting a pass interference. Is getting your you've seen Jade Barron do this a couple times where you can use the wide receiver as leverage to get yourself into position to knock a ball down, but you have to make a play on the football, or
Yeah.
be making a play on the football, right? You can't just be pulling somebody down or trying to pull them back because
Right.
that's
Yeah.
when you get a hold. Like people will be like, he held. It's like you're allowed to play football. You're allowed to do. Just you can't interfere with the pass, right? Like, but making a play on the ball isn't. But you
We
can
used to
see
the
right
Big
here.
12 where they get a flag for everything regarding pass interference. But yeah, that's great. I mean,
Look
that's
at
really
look
good
at the
coverage.
feet. The feet.
Yeah,
He jumps. He's jumping. He can't. He's used. He's now used his arm to get lever to to hold to get leverage so that he can get as far out as possible when he's jumping. He's done that defensive back has done every last little thing he can to try and deflect this football.
I mean, he was in great position. I mean, he made a pretty good play, all things considered, with how much room he had to deal with. I mean, Matthew Golden could have ran a number of routes right there. I
And
mean,
also a
there's so
great
much
catch.
space. Yeah, yeah. I mean, strong hands. Obviously, made sure he was in bounds. Not just that, finishes the catch, keeps the ball from hitting the ground in any facet. Um, I mean, that's a great touchdown. And this was a drive that, like you said, Nash, Texas had to have at the time. We just had our lead cut to a 3-point lead on the road, fourth quarter, playoffs somewhat on the line. Everybody had already talking about the schedule. Hey, that Jaden Blue run was big. We got the bounce on the fumble going out of bounds. Hey, we went and finished the drive and made it a two-score game again. So this was massive, a huge play here.
And it's like Jesse Palmer says, at the end of the day, you can't beat a good throw. A perfect throw, you're not going to be able to beat a perfect throw. Uh, so here we go. This in my opinion might be the play game because this is the one that, like I was telling you, this one to me it felt like this was like Alfred Collins saying, "Hey, let's remember who we are." You had I read that list of drives for you earlier, right? For y'all earlier. I mean, not a single one of the drives went over 10 yards, and if there was, it was one or two, if that. And then they have two drives so there was 69 yards those entire drives, and then they get the last two drives up to this point. They had gone 78 yards and 49 yards and gotten points on both those drives, and now they're driving up the field again. So it's more of what's been happening in the second half, and that's where in the show I talked about some inconsistency that I thought was happening from the Texas defense, and that's where we saw that. And then this is Alfred Collins saying, "Hey, let's remember who we are, and let's go make a play." And for me, it's like we talked about the not like in the back scenes, like leading up to this, getting ready for the video. Just the effort from Alfred Collins right here, man. Like if there's
Let's
one,
go.
I was just
Let's go
here.
all the way to the beginning because this is such a fun play to watch, man. I mean, I can watch this all day.
Yeah, I just wanted to like when I'm talking about
Oh yeah,
effort here, like I
full
talked about
body
this with you.
extension.
That body is horizontal. Like that, you just like, and I feel like this is one of the things that we as Texas fans we've been waiting to see from Alfred Collins. Is just this consistent effort, and he's always had the size. He's always had the ability. It was a matter of if he's just going to show up down, every single down, down in, down out. Is he going to be there? Is he going to be consistent? Is he just going to give us the same level of effort every single time? Because remember, this is a guy that we saw when Colorado tried to do a screen pass. He just one arm sticks his mid up there and goes and houses a play for a pick six. Like this is a special talent in a player, and
Absolutely.
like there's not many guys that you'll have like at this level of college where you will have good coaches arguing over whether you are a three tech or an edge. Like do you belong as a tackle or do you belong as an edge, right? And that's one of the things that when you have a body and you're as athletic as he is, you can kind of have some fun conversations like that. But so here we go to the beginning, like you.
Yeah, well said. I mean, that the effort and like I mean, Make your point even further. That man made a lot of money on Saturday. He had arguably one of his best games. He also had a big time sack. Arkansas was driving past Texas territory there, I think in the second quarter maybe, and he shed a block and had a diving sack on Taylon Green that was every bit as impressive as this play, to be honest with you. Now this one iced the game. This one, he forced a turnover there. It's more than just a sack. It was a very special play. But let's look at Arkansas right here. They are in what we call 10 personnel. You've got 4 wide receivers. You've got 1 running back. The running back's going to go out with the flare motion to the top of your screen. There is no boundary or field. We're in the middle. So yeah, but so he's flaring out to the top of the screen, trying to get Texas's eyes, kind of on this back here pre-snap. And so let's go ahead and roll it, Nash. Now let's go slow if we can. I want you to stop it. Maybe let's go. Oh, there goes the back. You see one of our backers go. I believe it's Anthony Hill goes with him. Now let's pause it right here. Okay, right here you see the Arkansas offensive lineman that was engaged with Alfred Collins. Now, he didn't get real engaged. If you remember watching Texas early on, those linemen were real engaged, but this is a different type of screenplay. Okay, this is a quick hitter to Isaiah Satania down here at the bottom of the screen, 17 for Arkansas. And so this guy's blocking Alfred and releasing pretty quick because, I mean, for screens, this is a relatively quick hitter.
He's
I
trying to get
want
out
you to
here
see
and
though.
meet this guy.
What's that?
I was saying
Yeah,
he's trying
absolutely.
to get out there and meet that guy.
Absolutely. And so he's got his eyes on him. You can see that already. And as we slowly go forward, watch how quick Alfred is to say, whoops, this guy gave up on me a little too easy. I'm going to be an athlete. I'm going to stop on a dime, turn direction. And it's one thing to go back, hustle back, and make a good play right here. He could have easily made a shoestring tackle, tackled the guy by his hips, and that would have been an A plus play that draft scouts would have drooled over. They would have been like, "Man, look at the effort by this guy, flipping his hips, turning around, identifying the play, and going and making a play."
I
But
mean, tackling the guy, let alone, is an amazing play.
exactly. But to have the awareness to say, "Hey, I see the football. Let's punch the football out. Let's go one step further." I mean, it's a beautiful thing, and both of us are extremely happy for Big AC, or Big AC 9-5, and I mean, he's playing great football. It's a pleasure to watch him right now, and like Nash pointed out a minute ago, just look at that. He's full extension. At one point, his body's parallel to the ground there as he's making contact with the football. And I mean, none of that happens if he doesn't identify that play the way he does. If he doesn't change change direction and hustle back with maximum effort. It's one thing, to see the play and then be like, oh, well, it's 7 or 8 yards away. I'm not going to get there. That's that effort Nash was talking about that Texas wanted and needed out of Alfred Collins, and that they're certainly getting this year.
His body is damn near spanning 9 feet.
I mean,
Like
that's
it's
fantasy.
like this dude is like look. There are humans that are just born different, and born. Look, Alfred Collins is one of those guys. He is just
Yeah.
he was born with a lot of gifts that a lot of us aren't, and one of those is size and athleticism. Uh, yeah, love this play. And then also one thing that I love too is because this could easily be overlooked, and this is one of the things that it's one of those detail oriented things I love about this defense. Turnovers don't happen if you like a fumble. Fumble's not a turnover if you don't recover it.
Hmm.
Watch just like real time, 100% speed. Watch how fast Michael Taff.
Texas is,
I mean,
I mean,
the amount
Johnny
like
on the spot.
the ball's out, and Michael Taft's head is already on it.
Yeah,
Like
he's
that. Like
already
this is
shifting
like
his
this
momentum.
team is. They're not worried about a ball carrier. They're worried about the ball. Their eyes are on the ball. Uh, I think back to I mean I loved watching Jalen Ford play for Texas
Yeah.
because to me, in my opinion, I don't think I've ever seen a player that is as consistent as he is as far as it was really hard to just pause a film, just randomly pause film and look and see Jalen Ford and not see his nose on the football. Like it did not matter what level of misdirection was going on. What his head was always looking at the ball. Whoever was holding the ball, his head was looking there. And it's just to me, it's one of those things that has to be taught, and I think it's like at a PK level. We're getting close to the end here, as you can see. You know the time is elapsing on the bottom of here, 4:45, 4:55. But this right here, this is the ice. This is the ice right here. This is the game. This is the play that ices the game. Let's go ahead and watch this one. So one thing that I love about this play is, it's 3rd and 13, right? We need the first down. Giving them the ball back, is it likely for Arkansas to win even if we give them the ball back? Probably not. But still, you're leaving that door open for them to go score. I mean, like we talked about,
It's still plenty of time.
I've seen a lot more crazy things than giving Arkansas the ball and then scoring in 5 minutes and getting the ball back again. Right? They still
Absolutely.
they have 3 timeouts. They can score, get the ball, make us punt a second time, and make a game winning drive at the very end. Because at the end of the day, all they have to do is get a touchdown and get in field goal range. So it changes the
Five
yardage a
man.
lot. But I like the fact that when we needed something, even when we had been beaten a couple times, we went to what we do. Our bread and butter is, and that's the screen game.
And that's the fun thing, Nash, with this offense. Texas can hit you in a lot of different ways, but that screen game is lethal, my man. If you would, let's get to the overhead real quick because this is just glorious to watch. Um, Look at this now, okay? So Texas is in what? There we go. We're in 11 personnel. We got the one tight end, one running back. We got trips to the right. Now, watch every single offensive lineman and gunner helm on this play except for Cam Williams, the right tackle.
So
Okay. Everybody engages and then watch. Okay, we snap it. Jake Majors is engaged. Kelvin Banks is engaged. And Williams is engaged. Now, where's Jonathan Brooks? I miss you, man. Sorry, where's Jaden Blue? He's in the shuffle. He chips. Now, look, every single lineman is released. And when you see a lot of three-man fronts like Texas has seen with this umbrella defense that teams like to throw out at Texas, and it's not just that random teams run this. This is a blueprint to slowing down the Steve Sarkisian offense that many teams have thrown at Texas over the last 4
Washington
years.
even.
Washington, even Kansas State ran it every year. Iowa State ran it every year. TCU ran it every year. Um, you see this from teams, and now when you have a three-man front, you can have the luxury. In a traditional screen, you might have 2 to 3 offensive linemen releasing it, maybe with a tight end as well. All depends on how your coach and what your scheme is. But you rarely see this. You've got just the right tackle staying in. You've got 5 guys releasing. It's beautiful to watch. I love the creativity that Coach Sarkisian uses in the screen game. We saw the one with Gunnar Helm earlier, and as Nash pointed out before we went live on this video, there's times where we have a couple stinkers in the screen game, and we did in this one. A couple of botched screens, one where it took us out of field goal range. Now, Steve Sarkisian doesn't care. He's got very many screens in the bag, and he's not afraid to use them all. And this design, this creativity, you don't see it very often. And look how much room we are. Like this looks like we're playing. I mean, look at this. Jaden Blue's catching the ball. If he turns around and goes to his left, I mean, look how. I mean, he might run forever. But luckily we only needed 13 yards. He had room to get it. He put his head down and did a great job. He does go left a little, okay. But yeah, that's just a great job. And look at all the linemen downfield who haven't even had to really touch anybody yet. I mean, I was kind of surprised it was that easy once I realized it was a screen. But at the same time, I didn't realize how many guys we let release down the field. And you could
Well,
see Arkansas was kind of on their heels a little bit.
and it's
Look at all
kind of
these
that
vertical guys.
like for as well as Arkansas was as being on the money, like they were on the nose on us quite a few times for the screen. Like as
They
soon as
were
we
well
started to do
prepared
something, they were already going to defend the screen, right? They were already like they were
offense.
running straight to Trey Wisner, like saying, "Hey, bud, we know what you're doing, right? Like you ain't fooling us." This one,
I guarantee.
it felt like these guys were like, Quinn Ewers, we got a chance to win the game right here, right? We got a chance to sack Quinn Ewers and win the game. Oh my god, I can't believe we got through like that. Yeah, you know what, bud? There's a reason why you got through. Uh, yeah, love that
Look,
play. Uh,
you go talk about Alfred Collins, like you just said. The guy for Arkansas. He engages with him and it kind of lets him free, and that's a red flag if you're a defensive tackle or a
speaking
defensive
of
end.
speaking of Big
And
AC,
there he is celebrating the game icing first down, and hey,
and
Texas left Arkansas with a win, and I'd love to see Alfred Collins be a big part of that.
I know. So Ghost may be thinking it's over, right? He may have thought we were done with the breakdowns, but we got one more. Okay, Ghost, I want to break down this play, okay, real quick.
Let's
This to
do
me is
that.
my favorite formation in football. Just what are you seeing right here?
Well, to be honest with you, I kind of have issues with the real quick knee from Quinn Ewers. Let's make sure we stay healthy here. He gets that left knee on the ground pretty quickly. It kind of looks like that be how he's coached up to do it. So he takes that snap, man, he's down. I'm kind of, I might fly it for a second, maybe take a big step back. Give Arkansas fans something to chirp about on Twitter, and take a slow knee. But no, ultimately Quinn did the right thing. Get down, get healthy, get the hell out of Dodge, and it's beautiful to see, man. As you said, this is the best formation in football when your team's the one lining up and doing it.
Crap, Mike or Cameron went out the worst possible time. I'll say, yeah, it's look when you're talking about, I wasn't necessarily expecting Ghost to go on such a serious tangent, but I will be. I do no, I do agree though because if you look, if you got some just let's call it what if you got some pissy defensive linemen that are they lost the game and they're being a little they're being a little sore about it, and they push some guy. You could have your offensive lineman going into Quinn, right, falling over, and then you could just have a whole bunch of problems that don't need to be happening. Uh, I don't know, but you know what? At the end of the day, love being able to take a knee. Anytime you're taking a knee is a great time. So
Amen,
hey,
brother.
I do really appreciate it, man. Look, anytime we beat Arkansas is a great day. Anytime we win a game is a great day. But there are things to improve on. But at the same time, I feel like we did. I feel like the Texas team did pretty all right for Arkansas. I feel like came pretty prepared for some of these plays and how they were handling Texas. I like as much as Texas fans, we want we can get overreactionary sometimes on the Twitter timeline, right? Uh, but I kind of want to see if you kind of agree with me here. I do feel like there was a little bit of overreaction on Quinn Ewers. I feel like he did a lot, not a lot better, but he did better than people would have you leading to believe on Twitter. And then two, I just in general, I think the team. Yes, there are things that we could have done better, man, but I feel like this was more of a case where Arkansas came really prepared, and I'm I've said this before. Like I felt better about that win than I did versus Mississippi State. I felt like I saw more problematic things versus Mississippi State.
I would agree with you, man. I think that you're facing a better opponent. Look at what Arkansas did to Mississippi State for one, but then also, I mean, you're on the road. You're playing in a venue that you are despised in. Those people hate Texas. It is a rivalry, in my opinion, and people do react to everything Quinn does, good or bad. And there's a lot of overreaction going on. We tried to talk about maybe why some of those sacks happened. He's trying to protect the football there at the end of the second quarter. Um, one time he just holds on to the ball a little too long and doesn't trust himself. Maybe it's It's not on Quinn, man. Offensive line, Quinn, Sark, like they all go hand in hand in how they have production and what they look like. And so, hey, man, we're 9-1. His defense is elite. Let's let these coaches cook and continue to get better on offense because hey, we don't turn the football over. We don't commit very many penalties. Texas is going to be a damn tough outcome playoff time. I mean, that's just fact when we have the defense that we have right now. And so,
And
yeah, I said playoff time, very confident.
that does lead me to one last little thought on this is, man, like you mentioned with Steve Sarkisian, this defense, I do also feel like a lot of our play calling is set up to help this defense out. Steve
And that's
Sarkisian, he has turned into more of a defensive minded head coach. And I've said this, and I'll keep saying it all day long. Steve Sarkisian does not give a shit about a record. He doesn't give a shit about having the first ranked offense. He doesn't care about. I think there are a lot of things that he doesn't care about. I think there's
I
about
think he
only
just
one
wants to
thing he
win.
cares about, and that's about winning a national championship. Because at the end of the day, if you win a national championship, who gives a shit what else happened? If you don't win a national championship, who gives a shit what you did? Right? Like it's you didn't win the last game of the year, and true competitors they want to win the last game of the season no matter what. Hey Ghost, I really do appreciate, man. I thank you for coming on. Like, look, I'm definitely not a ball knowledge guy. You know, as some people would say, I know a little bit, but definitely not as much as you. You definitely know a lot more. You I feel like this is a good thing that we might be able to bring back too, and
Yeah,
help because this is. I feel like this is kind of a good dynamic duo. Like you got the layman and me, who's more of like the average, Texas, more of like the average football fan, and then you got the
stop.
more in depth person like you that I mean, you were an offensive coordinator. You had an opportunity to go down the coaching path. So I want people to understand like this isn't just some random ass dude just talking, just talking shit on, just throwing shit out of his mouth. This guy actually knows a little bit about what he's talking about. So if you like that, go and subscribe to his channel, Ghost and Friends on YouTube. He is one subscriber away from 500. That's a big number for him. Man, I'm a big fan of your channel and all the stuff that you've done. I appreciate you for having me on. Is there anything else that you want to plug?
No, man. Just say thank you for having me on. You guys come check out Nash over there. We do a pregame show, postgame show together, along with a couple other guests. Daily content. Um, talk Aggies, we talk Sooners. So if you want to kind of come know your enemies a little bit, we bring guests on from those universities and those fan bases. But nah, man, big fan of Nash's channel. Like you're downplaying your ball knowledge, man. We've talked plenty of ball. Riding up to Dallas together and then just texting on the phone, and you definitely know what you're doing, man. And so keep it going, and you guys throw some likes on this video. And if you haven't subscribed to Nash's stuff yet, you're crazy, man. So hop on it, man, because gonna be doing. I have a feeling me and Nash will be doing plenty of stuff together. I would love to bring this
Yeah.
back, possibly make it a weekly thing, man.
No, I love that. And hey, look, if this is a weekly thing, I feel like my ball knowledge is going to be going up quite a bit in the next few in the next few months. So,
Here we go, baby. Teamwork.
all right, man, I appreciate it. And as always, have a great day. And you know what? Hook 'em.